Welcome. Today we're diving into a fascinating journey with the story of McDonald's from small diner to global empire. You'll discover how McDonald's transformed from a modest diner into a colossal fast food powerhouse, driven by visionaries like Ray Kroc and the McDonald brothers. As we uncover themes of entrepreneurship and innovation, any complex vocabulary or notable grammar choices will be explained briefly, making the story both engaging and accessible. So sit back, relax, and get ready to explore a tale of ambition, challenges, and triumphs in the business world. San Bernardino in the 1940s buzzed with life, a vibrant melody of sights and sounds. The streets were alive with the clatter of heels against pavement and the occasional honking of car horns. Nearby, the delectable aroma of sizzling burgers wafted from the new diner, tempting passers-by with its promise of hearty meals. Inside the kitchen, Richard and Maurice McDonald moved with synchronous precision, meaning simultaneous, as if performing a well-rehearsed dance. Their movements were quick and deliberate, embodying the spirit of their pioneering speedy service system. The air was filled with the symphony of clattering utensils and the hiss of sizzling grills, underscoring the brothers' commitment to quality and efficiency. Richard, ever the pragmatic one, glanced at his brother while expertly flipping a burger. "We need to keep our eyes on the future, Maurice," he said, wiping his hands on his apron. "This system we've created, it's about maintaining quality, even when things get hectic." Maurice nodded, his demeanor steady yet cautious. "I agree, Richard. But the more we grow, the more challenges we'll face. Scaling up isn't just about numbers. It's about keeping control." Their friendly banter, although supportive, hinted at underlying differences in perspective. Richard's determination to forge ahead contrasted with Maurice's cautious optimism. Still, their shared laughter and camaraderie revealed a brotherly bond that had weathered many storms. Outside, the excited chatter of customers formed a lively background. Conversations mingled with clinking plates, suggesting the diner's burgeoning popularity. It wasn't just a local favorite anymore. It was becoming a symbol of something bigger. Expansion seemed an inevitable step forward, though the path was not without its potential pitfalls. As the evening waned and the crowd dissipated, a quiet settled over the diner. After hours, Richard found himself alone, mulling over their achievements. The dining area, once bustling, now echoed with silence, an opportunity for reflection. He leaned against the counter, pondering the sustainability, meaning endurance, of their model. The possibilities were vast, but so were the risks. In those quiet moments, the seeds of doubt mingled with ambition. The brothers had built something remarkable, but could it withstand the test of time and expansion? There lay the uncertainty, like an unanswered question hovering in the air. As the streetlights flickered to life outside, Richard couldn't shake the feeling. Possibilities loomed, both exhilarating and daunting. The future of their venture was unfolding, and with it, an unresolved tension between innovation and preservation. Would they conquer the challenges ahead? Only time would tell. Ray Kroc stepped into the McDonald brothers' diner, immediately enveloped by its vibrant ambience, meaning atmosphere. The air pulsed with energy, a certain electricity that seemed to hum with potential. The pungent aroma, meaning strong smelling, of sizzling burgers and freshly fried potatoes filled the space, wrapping around the patrons like a comforting embrace. It was an olfactory symphony that set Kroc's mind racing with ideas and possibilities. Each sent a note in the melody of his imagination. He observed with keen interest the kitchen's operations, an orchestra of efficiency. The brothers' meticulous, meaning very precise, approach to their craft was apparent in every movement, in every flip of a patty, in every perfectly timed order. It was a dance of precision, and Kroc couldn't help but admire it. Turning toward Richard and Maurice McDonald, he engaged them in conversation. His words flowed with a persuasive, meaning convincing, ease, outlining his grand vision for a nationwide franchise. It was a dream painted in broad strokes, vivid and bold, designed to captivate and inspire. Richard listened, his expression pragmatic, meaning sensible and realistic. He weighed Kroc's words against the reality they lived, visualizing each step of the path proposed with a critical eye. Maurice, on the other hand, remained cautiously skeptical. Though he nodded along, there was a hesitance that lingered, a shadow of doubt. As the conversation deepened, a heated discussion bubbled up. Richard voiced his concern over the potential pitfalls of franchising. Quality and control, he emphasized, could easily be lost. His voice was steady, grounded, each word carefully measured. Maurice echoed his brother's sentiments but added a layer of his own. "Our original vision," he said softly. "What if it gets swallowed up in all this? Growth." His fear was palpable, a whisper of uncertainty caught in the whirlwind around them. As the discussion continued, the underlying tensions surfaced. The brothers were reluctant to relinquish the reins of control, their apprehension apparent. Yet Kroc's determination was unwavering. He saw beyond the immediate obstacles, envisioning a future where the golden arches stood triumphant across the nation. Later, as Kroc stepped outside into the cool evening air, he reflected on the conversation. The night was quiet, the din of the diner fading behind him, replaced by the soft rustle of the wind. It was here, amidst the serene backdrop of stars and shadows, that his resolve solidified. He was determined to transform this modest diner into a behemoth of the fast food world. Had he known inversion for emphasis, auxiliary plus subject plus past participle, what lay ahead, the challenges and triumphs, perhaps he'd have tempered his ambition. But in that moment, only possibilities stretched before him, limitless and inviting. Not only did he see inversion after negative adverbials, the potential in the McDonald brothers' system. He felt it, viscerally, undeniably. It was a sensation that spurred him onward, a catalyst in the quiet of the night. With this resolve ignited, the story poised itself for the next chapter in its unfolding. A narrative of ambition, tension, and transformation, ready to leap into the annals of history. Ray Kroc stood in the bustling kitchen, the aroma of fresh burgers enveloping him. Around him, spatulas clanged against grills while orders were called out in rapid succession. Amidst this controlled chaos, Ray's eyes remained glued to the sprawling map of America spread across the countertop. Each mark represented a potential new franchise, a future outpost of the empire he envisioned. The thought of expansion was intoxicating, almost as much as the smell of sizzling beef that filled the room. Later, in a sensory-rich boardroom lined with polished wood and the faint scent of coffee, Ray faced a group of eager yet skeptical potential franchise owners. His voice was determined, almost exhorting, meaning urging strongly, as he painted a picture of endless opportunities and the transformative power of the McDonald's brand. The room, filled with hopeful entrepreneurs, hung on his every word. Across the table, Richard McDonald watched with a thoughtful expression. His brother's enthusiasm was palpable, but Richard knew well the inherent risks, meaning existing as a natural part of rapid expansion. For every successful franchise, there could be pitfalls that threatened to compromise the quality they had worked so hard to establish. "Ray," Richard interjected, his voice steady but firm, "we must be cautious. Expanding too fast can lead to asterisk dilution, meaning reduction in strength, of our founding values. Quality has always been our cornerstone." Maurice McDonald, the steady presence in the room, sensed the tension building. Acting as a mediator, he leaned forward, his voice calm and measured. "Perhaps there's a middle ground," he suggested, the clinking of coffee cups echoing his sentiment. "We can expand, but with strategic oversight." Ray's gaze shifted from the map to his partners. He understood their concerns but believed fervently in the vision that stretched out before him. The bustling street outside a newly opened McDonald's franchise served as a testament to their success. The cacophony, meaning harsh mixture of sounds of customers and traffic, underscored the brand's growing presence, a melody of progress that Ray was eager to amplify. As the internal conflict escalated, Richard articulated his reluctance with a calm yet firm resolve. Never had Richard felt such tension between growth and principle. He confessed, inversion for emphasis, auxiliary plus subject plus past participle, worried about what might be lost in the pursuit of ubiquity. Ray, charismatic yet ruthless, resolved to press forward, his mind set on a vision dominated by ubiquitous golden arches. He believed they could conquer both fronts, expansion and quality, if they played their cards right. Yet a part of him secretly doubted the sustainability of such a rapid transformation. The meeting concluded with handshakes and tentative agreements, but as Maurice lingered back, he spoke privately with Richard. "I share your concerns about Ray's overpowering influence," he admitted, his voice low. "We need to ensure that our vision doesn't get overshadowed." Richard nodded, understanding the delicate balance they had to maintain. As he stepped out into the evening air, he pondered the road ahead. Change was inevitable, but at what cost? Had he known where their journey would lead, inversion for emphasis, auxiliary plus subject plus past participle, perhaps he would have been more prepared for the challenges they now faced. As the golden arches gleamed in the distance, a harbinger of both opportunity and uncertainty, the brothers knew that their path forward would demand both innovation and introspection, qualities as inherent to their success as the burgers that had started it all. The McDonald's kitchen was a cacophony of sizzling grills and the clatter of spatulas. The air was thick with the aroma of fries and freshly cooked burgers, creating a sensory backdrop that was both chaotic and invigorating. Amidst this bustling scene, Ray Kroc navigated the tight space with the grace of someone familiar with its chaotic rhythm. His eyes were set on Richard McDonald, whose focus was divided between the tasks at hand and the conversation looming before him. "Richard, the potential is palpable," Kroc insisted, his voice carrying over the din, meaning noticeable. "We have the chance to take this nationwide, to make McDonald's a household name." Richard wiped his hands on his apron, the gesture as much for composure as for cleanliness. "Ray, I understand your vision, but rapid expansion could compromise what we've built here. Quality must be our priority." Kroc's determination was unyielding, his persuasive tone a relentless force. "Imagine if we didn't seize this opportunity. Could we live with that regret?" The subjunctive mood flickered in his plea, a reminder of the hypothetical scenarios that danced through their minds, where opportunities slipped through fingers like sand. Ray's words hung in the air, dense with possibility and peril. The scene shifted starkly as they moved to a corporate boardroom, the atmosphere now austere, meaning plain. The walls were bare, devoid of the vibrant energy of the kitchen, and the echo of chairs scraping the floor added a solemn weight to the proceedings. In this new setting, voices rose and fell in heated dialogue. Kroc's relentless ambition strained the relationship with the brothers. Richard, pragmatic and thoughtful, remained resolute. "We need to ensure the integrity of our brand. Expansion has its risks." Maurice McDonald nodded in agreement, his steady yet cautious tone underscoring the gravity of their decision. "What if we lose what makes us unique?" he ventured, the inversion for emphasis adding a poignant touch to his words. Kroc leaned forward, his eyes sharp with intent. "Our plans must be non-meticulous," he stated, meaning very careful and precise. Every detail accounted for, every scenario anticipated. The brothers exchanged glances, the weight of Kroc's encroaching influence pressing down on them. They felt the pressure, an invisible force pulling them toward a future they weren't sure they desired. The ticking clock punctuated the silence, each tick a reminder of the time slipping away. As discussions continued, the murmurs of unease became a tangible presence, threading through the air like a slow-moving current. Kroc's strategic maneuvers were laid bare, his vision vast and encompassing, yet fraught with potential pitfalls. The brothers found themselves at a crossroads, reconsidering their positions, the stakes higher than they'd ever imagined. Richard's voice, thoughtful and deliberate, broke the silence. "We need to make this decision together, balancing ambition with the essence of who we are." Maurice nodded, the hesitance in his tone betraying the internal conflict. "We can't ignore the risks, but we also can't let fear dictate our choices." The tension in the room was palpable. Now, the air charged with the weight of decisions yet to be made. Each character was poised on the precipice of change, the path forward as uncertain as it was promising. Would they find a way to merge Kroc's ambition with their own values, or would the rift widen, irrevocably altering the course of McDonald's history? The subtle hook lingered in the air, an unanswered question tugging at the edges of their resolve as the clock continued its relentless march onward. Ray Kroc sat poised at the head of the long, polished table, his gaze sweeping across the room filled with eager executives. The air buzzed with anticipation, punctuated by the soft shuffle of papers and the distant hum of traffic. This was no ordinary meeting. This was the moment that would set the course for McDonald's transformation from a modest diner into a global giant. As he cleared his throat, the room fell silent. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his voice carrying the weight of both authority and ambition, "what we have before us is a unique opportunity, an opportunity to make McDonald's ubiquitous, meaning omnipresent, across the globe." His words were carefully chosen, each one a brick in the foundation of a vision that promised not only expansion, but domination. Richard McDonald, sitting near the center, leaned forward. His pragmatic mind was always calculating, always weighing the scales of possibility. "Ray," he interjected, his tone thoughtful yet firm, "while expansion is thrilling, how do we ensure that quality doesn't falter? Rapid growth can be a double-edged sword." The aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the room, an invigorating scent that mingled with the tension and excitement. It was the fuel for their brainstorming, a constant companion in these intense sessions, where strategies were born and dreams were crafted. At the far end, Maurice McDonald listened intently. His demeanor was steady, though beneath his calm exterior lay a current of caution. "Our reputation is our most valuable asset," he said slowly, his voice measured. "Losing control in the name of expansion worries me." Ray nodded, acknowledging their concerns. "Never before had such plans been imagined," he declared, employing inversion for emphasis, auxiliary plus subject plus past participle. "But think of the potential, the perseverance," meaning persistence. "Required, yes, but the rewards are unparalleled." The debate shifted to corporate ethics, meaning moral principles, a subject Richard felt passionately about. "Integrity must remain our cornerstone," he insisted, his eyes scanning the faces around the table. "Profit cannot override our principles." They had been contemplating expansion for years, the past perfect continuous setting the scene, past perfect continuous for background. Subject plus had been plus present participle. Their discussions often spiraled into heated debates, yet always circled back to the core values that had built their brand. As the meeting drew to a close, the room settled into a quiet contemplation. The brothers were caught between excitement and apprehension, the weight of the future pressing upon them. Richard and Maurice exchanged a glance that spoke volumes of shared dreams and unspoken fears. Ray, ever the visionary, sensed the moment's poignancy. He knew that beyond the corporate strategies and financial forecasts lay a deeper narrative of perseverance and innovation, a narrative that required not just ambition, but a steadfast commitment to ethics. The room slowly emptied, conversations trailing off into the corridors. Yet, in the silence that followed, a subtle hook lingered, a promise of what lay ahead. The future of McDonald's was being written, page by page, with each decision a step towards the unknown. Thanks for tuning in to the English Frequency Podcast. We're glad to be part of your English learning journey from beginner to advanced. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, share, and leave a review. Keep practicing, stay motivated, and see you in the next episode.